What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. Free at last, free at last. Thank God I'm free at last. Candace Owens is free now to speak her mind, although I think she still has a court-ordered gag order from the Daily Wire, but she no longer works there and is now publishing under her own YouTube channel and is able to chronicle the last couple of months after she was unceremoniously fired from the Daily Wire for saying Christ is King, among other fireable offenses, I suppose, at that company. Candace Owens is up with her first video. Uh-oh, I got fired. That's a great title. That's a good title. Okay, so Candace Owens now publishing, and man, it's getting ugly. I got to tell you, we have clips from Candace's first show, but this weekend, the world was kind of rocked with Candace Owens calling out a spy that the Daily Wire sent. And I confirmed this through my own sources at Turning Point USA. Candace Owens calls out Ben Shapiro's shady tactics at Turning Point Women. She tells him to meet him in Detroit to have an agreed upon debate. But check it out. Like, Candace Owens is saying effectively that there was a spy that was sent from the Daily Wire to go record her at this Young Women's Leadership Conference with Turning Point. It's totally creepy and weird thing to do. But let's listen to Candace herself. I mean, we know that there are NDAs that are being enforced now at the Daily Wire, that they've lost 25 people due to this bad breakup, and that there are people who were allegedly fired for simply having sent nice notes to Candace Owens, because the Daily Wire went in and used their ability to search through somebody's personal email and access their personal email and scrub through that. I mean, it's crazy, it's crazy. That's what's out there, man. And now this is out there. Candace Owens talking about her firing from the Daily Wire.
That, of course, is not the only elephant in the room. I kid. There is a much bigger one, and we will address that too. For me, my podcast, I describe it as just talking to my friends on the phone. That's what it feels like. I don't even feel that the entire world is listening. I kind of am just like, hey, oh my gosh, did you see this? This is crazy. Oh, I just read this crazy book. Oh my gosh, what does this mean about our government? It's corrupt. It's like talking to my family on the phone. And then we kind of sort of find out that the entire world is listening when all of these hit pieces are being written about me. And I'm like, oh, we're basically being spied on. Why is somebody listening to our private conversations? So yeah, when I found out, really kind of sort of definitely with the rest of the world, that my show had been rather unceremoniously canceled, it was upsetting. It sort of felt like you're talking on those old school cord phones late into the night, and your parents are sleeping, and then you think they're sleeping, and then suddenly your mom picks up and she's like, yeah, this conversation is ending right now and you're grounded for 2 weeks. It's over. Deeply, deeply upsetting. And I think also something that was strange is that when most people leave their jobs, they just sort of leave their jobs. It doesn't really become this global news story where everybody feels like they have to comment. Yeah, a worldwide Twitter trend for an entire week. Crazy. And I want to say this. I genuinely, my entire life, I believe that you should always aim to split amicably, whether that's in a relationship, whether you're in the midst of a divorce, which I hope never happens, or whether it's just leaving a job. I mean, why else would we put years in anywhere if you did not want that relationship to end amicably? That should always be the aim. I want you to know that wherever you are going, don't put in years somewhere and then have it be a messy split. And quite frankly, I also think it's the right thing professionally not to speak about why you are splitting or what's happened.
Again, Candace Owens is under a gag order, a court-enforced gag order to not speak ill of the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro, but that gag order must not encompass Andrew Claven. Andrew Claven is somebody who Candace Owens has sort of gone hard in the paint on. He's one of the personalities at the Daily Wire, Andrew Claven, in an attempt to explain why Christ is King can be anti-Semitic, offered this on a podcast about me. Candace Owens posted a couple of months ago in March when this thing first really took off. And she's been going hard at Andrew Claven, who apparently was the person who's been tapped at the Daily Wire to come out and disparage Candace. And here's what Candace had to say about Andrew Claven. She did not hold back.
But I was shocked very shocked, and I'm sure you were shocked as well, when no sooner was the split announced than Andrew Claven just was like, hey, it's me. I pick myself. I'm going to be her crazy ex-boyfriend. Just like a bizarre tour he went on. He felt like it was his duty, or maybe somebody knighted him and said, you know what, Andrew Claven, this is your duty to go around and to just smear Candace Owens. Say whatever it is that you want about her. And there's a piece of this that everybody's missing, and I do want to talk about that. I think Lauren Chen really summed it up, or at least pointed to it on Twitter. She sort of said, you know, what's really missing in all of these conversations with Andrew Claven is, are you guys recognizing that he's basically saying she was really nice to him? That there was nothing that she did from a personality perspective. Yeah, that is kind of the big part that I think a lot of people are missing. Lauren Chen is correct. I was nothing but kind and nice and warm to Andrew Claven for years.
So it does seem like kind of dirty media tactics. Again, Candace Owens is somebody who's now allegedly there are hatchet job, media hit job articles that are being written about her. And she's fighting back against those effusively. But this whole thing and this whole beef with Claven really took it to the next level.
I had what I would describe as a very good working relationship with him, as I do with everybody. It's important to me to always represent myself professionally, also to always be nice and check in on people's lives. And just a few weeks before this, Andrew Claven was sitting across from me on backstage, asking about my kids, asking us how I was doing, talking to him about the fact that I had had a surgery. I had been walking around in a boot just a little prior to that because I had a surgery back in December. And I think that is just, I don't know, I don't even want to say it's strange, more than strange. I think it's dishonorable. You know, a lot of people go, oh, why do all of these young men follow Tristan and Andrew Tate? Why don't they follow people like, I don't know, Andrew Claven? And I've really spent a lot of time trying to understand how it is. And I think this was just recently announced that someone like Andrew Tate has become the third most Googled person in the world. That was recently announced. The third most Googled man in the world is Andrew Tate, his brother. They are from the wrong side of the tracks. How do they gain a following of so many young men following them? I think that one thing I could bet my life on is that if me and Andrew Tate were enemies, he wouldn't be sitting across from me asking me how my kids are. He wouldn't. I also want to say that just in terms of how I've always behaved with my colleagues, if I ever had a disagreement with something that they said, I would never do anything other than to go to them directly.
So it does seem like there's some, strange happenings going on at the Daily Wire. Again, I don't know how else to say. Like it does seem very duplicitous to sit on a stage with these people who are then attacking you, a week later. And you're like out public and live with them, Candace Owens opining on why this might have happened.
So what is it that I did that actually upset Andrew Claven? That was kind of what I did. I've had such a great relationship with this guy. What did I do to deserve this? I would never do this to him or any person. What did I do that amounted to him planning an attack on me and smearing my name, absent any clips, absent any context? And he kind of gives it away in the title of his episode, because Christ really is king. And this, honestly, is just where things got a little bit disturbing for me. Andrew, for 5 entire months, had been seething. I mean, unbeknownst to me, never mentioned it to me, never when I saw him, over a tweet that I had sent last November where I shared a Bible verse. And I ended the Bible verse, here it is, take a look at it, by saying Christ is king. It's just a Bible verse, okay? You will note that nobody is tagged in this verse. This was not a response to any thread. It was a standalone tweet. But remember, Andrew is lying his face off, right? So he says, okay, this is the tweet that upset me. Now I'm just going to pretend that this tweet was delivered in a different way. And here is how he lies again.
The truth that hid wickedness, that I thought was the most wicked truth to use, was the truth that Christ is king. When you spit that phrase at Ben Shapiro,
that she used Christ as king in an argument with Ben Shapiro, where it obviously carried this weight. And so that's why I was addressing it.
So there you have it. No, of course, I did not spit that phrase at a Jew. I just tweeted it all by itself. I did not use that phrase in an argument with a Jew. I just used that phrase at the end of a Bible verse because that's an appropriate time to use that phrase when I was calling for peace after actually somebody insulted me and called me faux sophisticated. And it was meant as nothing more than, I'm calling for peace. That's it. Christ is king of my heart. I don't need this drama because, if you remember, I was 38 weeks pregnant.
So Candace Owens kind of taking gloves off. Again, we have to, you have to reiterate that according to reporting, there is a court-ordered gag order. And when asked effectively about what she could say about the Daily Wire and censorship, Candace Owens did one of these motions and threw away the key over the past weekend. And so that would, tend to lend itself to obviously this being true and that she can't speak on these things. And yeah, that reporting comes from Glenn Greenwald, and we definitely trust Glenn. So we encourage you to follow Candace Owens on her channel. It's at Real Candace O. And yeah, I guess there'll be more to come. I want the debate with Ben Shapiro. I want it so badly. It would really make me happy because I think it'd be very good for the conservative movement, and it would probably end with a lot of people getting their dirty laundry out and clearing the air. I would assume, right? Clearing the air. I think it'd be super good. I think the debate should happen, and I'll be front row if it does. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. The truth shall set you free.